The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized for 1 hour.
Madam Speaker, for the purposes of debate only, I yield the customary 30 minutes to my good friend, the gentleman from Oklahoma, pending which I yield myself such time as I may consume. During consideration of this resolution, all time yielded is for the purposes of debate only. I ask unanimous consent that all members be given 5 legislative days to revise and extend their remarks.
Without objection.
Madam Speaker, yesterday, the Rules Committee met and reported a rule, House Resolution 1404, making an order a motion offered by the Chair of the Committee on Appropriations or her designee to concur in the Senate amendment to H.R. 6833. The rule provides 1 hour of debate on the motion equally divided and is controlled by the Chair and Ranking Member of the Committee on Appropriations. The rule further provides for consideration of H.R. 8987, the Fairness for 9/11 Families Act, under a closed rule. The rule provides 1 hour of debate equally divided and controlled by the Chair and Ranking Member of the Committee on Judiciary and provides 1 motion to recommit. Madam Speaker, I am sure we will have a spirited debate on this rule, but before we do, I want to begin by expressing my heartfelt sympathy with the people of Florida. The catastrophic devastation left behind by Hurricane Ian is unlike anything we have seen in quite some time. Our hearts are with those whose lives have been lost and their loved ones, and we pray for those who are missing, that they will be located safely and soon. If there is one thing we know, it's that the people of Florida are strong, and this is not their first hurricane. They will recover, and they will come back stronger than ever. And I want to thank all of the first responders who have sprung into action to save lives, from local police, fire, and EMS, all the way up to our federal response at FEMA. The people of Florida ought to know that America stands with them. And part of standing with the people of Florida is passing this important legislation to keep the government open during this critical moment. Madam Speaker, with less than 24 hours until the end of the fiscal year, today we are here to do our job. We in Congress have a responsibility to the American people to keep the lights on. In addition to preventing the furlough of thousands of federal employees, averting a shutdown will also ensure that our constituents can continue to receive the vital government services that they need. The last shutdown, when the Republicans were in charge of the House and the Senate and the White House, was the longest shutdown in our history. It cost our economy an astounding $11 billion. In contrast, Democrats are doing our job. We're keeping the government open as we finish up bipartisan, bicameral negotiations on a longer-term fiscal year 2023 appropriations package. This CR also provides Ukraine with the security, economic, and humanitarian assistance that they need to fight back against Russia's brutal invasion. With Russia holding fake elections to annex parts of Ukraine, the Ukrainian people urgently need our support to protect their families and defend global democracy. And finally, Madam Speaker, I mentioned earlier the devastating hurricane in Florida. We also just had an awful hurricane in Puerto Rico. The people of Puerto Rico are still reeling from the damage of Hurricane Fiona, and the people of Alaska are recovering from a terrible typhoon. This bill contains money to support communities across the United States as they recover from natural disasters. Madam Speaker, we are talking about hurricane relief, for God's sakes. I'm begging my Republican friends, can we please at least come together on providing relief to communities devastated by hurricanes? Can we all agree that we ought not to shut the government down in the middle of a major national disaster response? The funding in this bill will help families and small businesses get back on their feet and rebuild from extreme weather events while repairing damage to critical infrastructure. This is a bipartisan bill, Madam Speaker. It earned 72 votes in the Senate. I don't think you can get 72 votes in the Senate on what to have for lunch, let alone on government funding legislation. So, Madam Speaker, I'm going to again plead with my colleagues, do not vote against additional funding to help people recover from hurricane damage. Please, especially my Republican friends from Florida. A vote against the CR is a vote against funding for help with hurricane recovery in your own state. And I just hope that we are not at the point where we have become so partisan and so polarized that we can't even agree on this. Madam Speaker, this rule also includes H.R. 8987, the Fairness for 9/11 Families Act. This bill will ensure thousands of 9/11 families and victims who receive some but not all of their compensation that they deserve are made whole. Both of these measures deserve broad support today. Americans are depending on us to get this done. And with that, Madam Speaker, I reserve the balance of my time.